Hey guys, it's H6C Duelist Caden here, and I'm going to talk to you about the card Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. I feel like this format is fantastic if you play any rank 4 toolbox deck, especially Satellas. I mean, like, if you want to play like the Floodgate Satella versions and stuff like that, I think this card is fantastic and will help like a lot of your matchups. Um, what it does is it, before I continue on, you have no idea what I'm talking about, is all face-up level 6 or higher special summon monsters on the field cannot declare an attack or activate their effects. So it stops you from getting killed on Necros. I mean, like, obviously, like, Mistake would be better, but if you're playing Satellas, obviously, you want to add cards to your hand. You don't want to have that restriction on you. So, I mean, stopping them on board and having access to cards such as this, like, you can make like, just say, like, a Castel, bounce their cards back to deck or whatever, and then you can, like, push through, or, like, you can just do anything you feel like when this is up. Like, other than, like, I think, like, Necros is only adds, like, Unicore or just making, like, another rank 4, but, I mean, like, you have the potential to, you have so much more potential to set up and not let them progress any further. I mean, like, you could still even play, like, if you want to play, like, if you're a Satella and you're playing, like, really, like, heavy anti-meta, like, or just Floodgate, you can just, like, main deck Mind Drains or whatever, and then this in Mind Drain is just, you just win. Like, obviously you can side out, like, if you're going to run Mind Drain, just side out your 2 Honest if that's what you're running or whatever, and put, like, 2 Mind Drains in, and then side in 2 of these, and then it's just like, by the time if you open up with, like, Deneb Mind Drain and, like, just say, like, an Alpha or whatever, you should win that game. Like, you have that many Floodgates. Obviously they're running, like, MST at 3 and stuff like that, and hands and stuff, but I mean, like, you can work your way around the hands, and then this just stops them from you being Trishalit or, like, Valkyris and stuff like that. It's like a breakthrough skill, essentially. Or it's just like, think about, like, the Fiendish Chain for, like, every big monster on their board. Like, that's literally what it is. And it's just a really, really good Fiendish Chain in this format. And especially with, like, Heretics coming out, you don't want them, like, resolving a lot of their effects. So I think they're, like, level 6 or whatever. So, like, you don't want them to be, like, OTKing you with that Dark Meta Dragon or whatever. So I just feel like this gives you a better matchup. I don't think it's, like, the best card in the format, but I feel like it's very underutilized and could be used very well this format. It is a janky ass trap, but it's not used against, like, and especially it can also help you out in the Quillfort matchup. I mean, like you can just run that and then run cards such as, like, Anti-Spell Fragrance. You know, like, Anti-Spell Fragrance will shut down Quillforts tenfold, and it just allows you to advance your game state. I mean, like, this will stop their disc resolving or towers or whatever, so that's still good at the end of the day for you. And just while we're on it, I feel like this format, if you want to slow down, like, while BA and Yosenju are like, obviously BA is not making a top cut as much as they were, like, 3 months ago since the release of Necros, but even, like, Yosenju now, they can make OTKs and make really, really hard breakable boards on the first turn, especially with, like, second turn, especially with their secret moves counter trap. So I feel like Ojama Trio, again, hits 2 decks in the meta, like, that are very commonly played, or have a high player basis. So Ojama Trio not only hits your opponent, Burning Abyss, but will also hit your Senju players. Like, so they can only go come 1, come 2, or just come 2, come 3, or whatever. So they're locked out of 3 places, and they don't synchro, and I don't think they're main decking Dark Hole. So, I mean, they could. I'm not sure how many Dark Holes. I know they're running Regeki, but, like, even if they do Dark Hole, they burn themselves for 900, and that's not always good. I mean, like, they leave their board open so often. So I think Ojama Trio is very good this format again. Especially with, like, BA is about to get some extra support. I think it's we're possibly getting like we got the might be getting back Crush Card Virus with the new errata from the Bling series, the Gold series or whatever it is. So I mean, I feel like this can hit your Sendru and BA, even just on a locals like look at, like, this is just a good card to side. It burns for 900. It doesn't stop you from doing what you need to do, and it takes up 3 of your opponent's board. So I feel like a Geometry is very decent. I wouldn't say, again, one of the best cards or a Floodgate. You know, like I still feel it's very decent to play. Um, anti-spell fragrance, again, I still feel like is very good. Just shuts your opponents out of like the pendulum scales and stuff like that. Especially like your Senjus will struggle when they can't like chuck it down, but I wouldn't even side it in against them. Like, I mean, like, they can't put their pendulum scale dude in the left zone. So I mean, like, again, they're just gonna normal summon it anyway. So it doesn't hurt them, but it just tends to slow the decks down and kind of fucks up Shadow's a bit. Like, Shadow's obviously is still very relevant. It's gonna hit all their quick play spells. So anything from like the Shadow El Shadow Fusion to their to the what do you call it, the enemy controller, and then it's got a decent heroes, like it's decent to start against heroes. I mean, like, at least you can flip it up. They have to set their quick play that turn after, like, so you activate, flip this, have this set it, and then then it's not usable for the rest of the turn. Although they're gonna play it anyway on you, you can just progress. Like, maybe it's on your turn, they go to activate it, you flip that, they have to set it, and then they can't activate for the rest of the turn. So now you're sitting there, and you can just progress your game, say, or your board further than they can, and then you should win, obviously, if you stop them from fusion summoning. But yeah, I just feel like it's good just to not get your ass kicked or OTK'd by heroes, and force a play out later than it should. So there are just some side deck cards this format which could hold some decent potential. I'm not going to say any of them are going to be meta changing, but they're definitely worth having a look at, especially with the way you it depends on how you play. But I still feel that Grave of the Ancient Super Ancient Organism is a card to look at, especially if you're playing anti-meta with no big monsters and you want to stop your opponent, like your Necrons. Like, if I was playing BA, like, I would still run this in BA. Like, you would just, like, even though Virgil kind of becomes a bit dead, you don't always, like, you rely solely on Dante's most of the time. So I still feel like this would still be a good Floodgate card against Necros to have, like, to give you a slightly better matchup. I mean, like, even though it's pretty bad as it is, you want all the advantages you can get. So, I mean, these are cards worth looking at. That's my video for the day. Thank you, and this is H6C Duel signing out.